We all know about TF2's taunts, right? That's a pretty dumb way of starting a video, but over the last few years, TF2 has started adding more taunts around their Christmas updates and sometimes Halloween updates. Mainly Christmas though. And it seems that with every single update, they manage to get new unusual effects as well. I can't even keep track of how many unusual effects there are in the game anymore, because there's literally so many. One could say that maybe there are now too many unusual effects in TF2, but that's, I'm going to talk about that in a different video probably. I think I counted, and 69 unusual effects were added last year, which is nuts. Like, it's not a number I just made up. 69 effects were actually added, if I counted properly. So not only are there a bunch of taunts people could be using, but also a bunch of effects people could be using. So that's cool, but are they actually worth it? When taunts first came out, they instantly took over servers and you couldn't do anything else. I remember you not being able to play when the Conga came out because everybody in every single server was using it. And you would actually get kicked if you killed people who were in a Conga line. But nowadays, I really don't see too many people doing stuff like that. I don't see many people even using their taunts anymore at all, unless you're in a server with your friends or somebody you know in like the pre-game. Other than that, I don't see many taunts anymore. This could just be my experience. You guys could be seeing loads of them constantly, but I really haven't noticed many. I have to be honest, I rarely ever use taunts in the game anymore. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the fact that I'm a YouTuber and I'm fully expecting that if I ever taunt on anyone in this game, there's going to be a spikeymikey exposed video made on me or something dumb like that, which subconsciously makes me not want to taunt after killing somebody ever. Or simply it's because I don't really think about them when I'm playing. I remember the first update that kind of added a bunch of new taunts, and that was like the audition reel crates, and then you can get unusuals in it. The taunt menu completely changed from having one in your action slot to being able to equip 8 at one time. Like, that one big update changed how taunts worked forever. And back then, it was really exciting to see somebody use just any of the regular taunts anyway, because they were brand new, but also seeing anybody who had an unusual taunt. Like, that was stuff we had never seen before. I never expected that stuff to come into the game, but it did, and seeing it in game was amazing. But I think now, unusual taunts, compared to pretty much every other unusual, are so cheap that they're not that special anymore. Now, obviously, you're still going to have your super expensive stuff and your, like, god-tier taunts that are out there. But let's be honest, most of the time, what you're going to be seeing is people who have bought an unusual taunt for the sake of owning one, not because it looks good. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I did the same thing. I went out, and when unusual fires made taunts way cheaper, I bought loads because I could. It brought them to a level where if you were a decent trader, you could actually collect them and you weren't breaking the bank for every single one. I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but I think my main point is that they're now kind of everywhere, so you really don't care that much about them. They're not like special anymore. Obviously, when new taunts come into the game, they're really cool, and I love the skateboard taunt, and I'd use that all the time if I still had one. But I just think taunts in TF2 right now aren't like ridiculously special. Now, that's not to say that any taunt isn't special. There are so many taunts that when you see them in game, they look incredible and you want to own it. But most of the taunts you see now, because unusual fires are a thing and they're all really common on a bunch of the taunts, you see a lot of the same nowadays. I definitely think unusual fires kind of ruined how special taunts were for me. I don't think they're like as worth it to get anymore, mainly because I don't really use taunts that much, and there's probably about 27 million other people that can own exactly the same taunt as you. I know I'm talking about unusual taunts a lot in this video, but that's because they're like, to me anyway, the kind of version of the taunt that you would want to get. So for weapons and stuff like that, I love trying to get strange, like professional, specialized killstreak versions of them, because that is like the best one you could be using. It's tracking your kills. You've got a killstreak on it. Like, that is the perfect version of that weapon. Kind of the same thing for taunts. They're a little bit like kind of meh when there's not an unusual effect there, but now that so many taunts have so many unusual effects, it's kind of feeling the same. Anyway, I want to know what you guys think. Are taunts still worth it? How often do you use taunts? I'm sure this kind of question that I've got will, you know, it will change a lot depending on the person, because there's going to be a lot of you that still use your taunts all the time. I just don't do it that much, and I think because I don't use taunts a lot, I don't notice when other people use theirs. So anyway, that is going to do it for the video. I'm sorry it's been so long since my last one, just everything has been mental recently. If you enjoyed, please leave this video a like and also subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.